Today we're going to talk about negotiation skills with Morgan. So welcome, Morgan.
So yeah, indeed, for the ones who don't know me, so I am the head of sales at Housing Anywhere. Housing Anywhere is the world's largest platform for mid to long term accommodation. And the primary reason why I wanted to take part in that webinar about negotiation is because I myself took a long time before to get up to speed with negotiation. I failed multiple times, and every day I face all the misconceptions that people have about negotiation, and therefore I think that by just addressing those misconceptions sharing a bit of knowledge about negotiation, we can get anyone to become a better negotiator. We'll talk about it later, but I think we would all gain if everyone becomes better at negotiating. So in terms of misconceptions, there are a bunch of them. I think the biggest one is really about what is negotiation, the purely the definition of negotiation. Many people tend to see that as a kind of a confrontation or something, while really what negotiation is about is a discussion that is aimed at reaching a mutually beneficial agreement, which means that two parties that are negotiating have to gain something from one another. And I think acknowledging that really helps whenever we are in a situation of negotiation, because we are not fighting anymore. We are simply trying to create extra value together. So the biggest misconception, I think, is really about what is negotiation. Is not a fight, is not trying to squeeze everything out of the other party, but is really about finding a mutually beneficial agreement. Another one is how people, and then that's linked to the first one, is how people look at the other party when they are negotiating, and they tend to look at it as their counterpart or almost their enemy, while actually we should always look at the other party in a negotiation as a partner, because again, what we can do together is create extra value, and that leads us to the third biggest misconception in negotiation. Is most people think that negotiation is about splitting the pie. So they think that the value, the pie has to be split and is limited, while really what negotiation is about expanding the pie. So really looking at how together we can create a bigger pie that, of course, then we need to split in some way, but we are splitting a bigger pie than the one we have before the negotiation. Let's say you're trying to buy sunglasses from a street vendor, and you really like those glasses, but they are fake ones. They are not real Ray-Ban glasses, and you really want to decrease the price. The seller is asking you, for I don't know, 20 euros for a pair of glasses, and you think they are worth only 10. Most people will only focus on the price and try to negotiate from 20 euros to 10 euros for this pair of sunglasses, while actually there are a bunch of other elements you can bring into the negotiation in order to get what you want. So for instance, you could buy more than one pair, right, and get a discount for that, or you could pay in cash, for instance, which is really convenient for the street vendor who doesn't have who doesn't accept a credit card payment. So it's really about, or you could buy right now instead of thinking about it all afternoon and passing by again later, right? So you can think of many other elements to bring into the deal that not only are gonna dictate how you split the pie or the value, but that are gonna actually add value to the transaction. For me, the first step is the needs analysis, and that's maybe where you can think of preparation. But needs analysis is really the first step, because that's where you're gonna understand what has value for the other party. Part of that needs analysis, you can do it during the preparation phase. So before even talking to the other party, you can search for information, look at their website. Once you have understood how you can what is important to the other party, then you can focus on creating extra value for the other party, because you know what's important to them. You're going to be able to bring extra elements into the deal and to provide them with what they need so that they are gonna accept to give you what you need. Once you have an idea of how you're gonna create that extra value for the other party, the next step is to position that value. So you need to get the other party to understand and to believe in this value, this extra value that you are bringing. And finally, the next step, the last step, is of course to follow up and close on the negotiation. And here it doesn't matter what kind of negotiation you are into, the follow-up and the close is really the final key to negotiation. There will be no outcome of a negotiation if there is no close. You know, most people, when they think about negotiation, they think of the typical corporate negotiation where you have 3 people in a suit on each side of the table, and those people, you know, are sharks. They are, they are extremely prepared, and they have a lot of experience. This is not the typical negotiation. This is not even 1% of the negotiations that are happening in real life. So when you think about negotiation, you can think also of daily life situation, like for instance, when you want to decide which movie you're gonna go to watch with your girlfriend, or what you're gonna eat tonight at dinner with your flatmate. And you have to follow the same process of needs analysis, creating value, positioning the value, and following up until you close the deal. And so, for instance, if you think of which movie we are gonna watch, it might be that I don't know, your boyfriend really wanna watch an action movie, and you really want to watch a drama or something. In that case, maybe what you're gonna do is compromise on that movie that we are going to watch today. However, I really want to have your commitment that next week we are going to watch an action movie, right? So I'm going to provide you with, I'm going to do my needs analysis, find out that it's important to you to watch a drama movie. However, because I'm giving you that drama movie today, I also want to get something in return for next week. There is a big difference between winning a negotiation and having a successful negotiation. I believe what we were doing back then at Housing Anywhere with Student Association was to win negotiation, because basically we would get the Student Association to do a bunch of stuff for us, mostly for free, besides saying that they were working with Housing Anywhere, which back then was not famous, they wouldn't get much from the collaboration. And so when you win a negotiation, when you have the feeling that you won the negotiation, what it means is that you got the value you wanted, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you created extra value and that you provided the other party with the value they need. So a successful negotiation is really when the agreement is mutually beneficial, so that both parties are actually committed to follow through on the outcome of this negotiation because they really want to get that extra value. So I wouldn't say that it's about fairness. I would say it's really about finding those needs and answering them. Ultimately, if you're negotiating with someone who doesn't want much, and you don't give him much because he's not asking for much, it doesn't mean that it's not fair. Or some people could think it's not fair, but it doesn't mean it's not a successful negotiation, right? So fairness is really subjective, and I prefer to think in terms of are both parties getting the value they were expecting from the negotiation? There are definitely some very common mistakes. The most common one actually is to not do the needs analysis, and that's what I notice most of the time with my team members. Most of the time they come to me and they're like, "Oh, can I give this discount to this landlord, to this customer?" And I'm like, "Why?" And then they say, "Yeah, because he asked for this discount." And it's, of course, it's fair enough to ask for a discount. But we cannot negotiate based on without a business rationale. So we always have to, if someone asks for a discount, ask, why do you need a discount? What is it that prevents you from paying the real value for our service? So most of the time when I see people having unsuccessful negotiation is because they didn't do a proper needs analysis. to do a proper needs analysis, the first thing you got to do is to build trust. So there are many ways to build trust. Active listening, of course, is a very important part. You have to be honest. You have to be genuine. You have to offer and also expect commitments from the other party. So there are a bunch of behaviors that are gonna enable you to build that trust, and this trust is going to give you the proper needs analysis. If you don't have the trust, it's going to be very difficult to get someone to tell you what they need or what are their problems or their pains. I was told that, I will get, a salary increase, or that I will get promoted at some point. But until I started my career, I was under the impression that these things happen when you're an employee and that you don't have to create those opportunities yourself. An interesting thing, that, by the way, about this, the difference between someone who asks for a salary negotiation every year versus someone who never asks for salary negotiation. If you would take two people who start working, in around 25 years old, and who start with the salary of, let's say, 1,500 euros a month, between the person who negotiate, like a 2 or 3% increase every year versus the person who never negotiate, by the end of their career, there will be 1 million euro difference. This is huge, only in salaries that you didn't get paid because you didn't ask. You didn't ask for it. So that's the first thing. The first step is really to start asking for it. And that's I didn't do it the first time. I was promoted, I was given a salary increase, and I was so happy about it that I didn't even think of negotiating. And then the time after that, I did ask, but I didn't know how to. So I just said, yeah, I want more. And then they asked me, but why do you want more? And I was like, I don't know. I think I should get more. So the first step is really to start asking for it, and then the second time you're gonna ask for it, but you're not gonna do it properly, and then the time after that, maybe you are gonna ask in a better way, and then you're gonna learn how to position the value, and over time you're gonna get better and better at negotiation. But this is not something that you do from a day to another. I have negotiated my career and my salary multiple times, and I still don't consider myself as great at it. That's really a long process, a long learning process. You shouldn't think, oh, now I'm really done. I never asked for a salary increase. I never asked for a promotion. Now I'm really done. I want it now, tomorrow. That's not the right approach. So like in any negotiation, the first thing to do is your needs analysis. So first you need to understand, okay, what does my company, if you want to ask your current manager, what is my company looking for? How can I deliver more value? What are the opportunities also in the future for me to grow? And something that I would really recommend to everyone is not only look at the salary, but to look at the overall package. So the package also include, things like holidays, like 13 months, like maybe a company car, or this kind of stuff. And even further than that, not only looking only at the package, but looking at your job as a vehicle. That's really a key concept, I think. This concept of vehicle. You must make sure that you are on the right vehicle. What's a vehicle? It's something that is bringing you from point A to point B, point B being your goals. And so you should make sure that wherever you are now, you are in the right vehicle in order to get closer to your goals. And you should always be assessing whether or not there is another way to get to your goals faster. And when you think in terms of vehicle, you don't only focus on the salary, you don't only focus on the holidays or the title, but you also take into account other things like, do I like the people I'm working with? Can I work from home sometimes? This kind of other elements that are not necessarily always negotiated when you talk to your manager, but that are definitely part of making sure that you are in the right vehicle. So of course you can consider that if you know the salary of your colleagues or the salary of your boss or whatever, you have an advantage. It can be true, but at least from my experience, the truth is that if you know the salary of other people, what you tend to do is be emotional about it. And if you know that you earn even slightly less than someone else, and you're under the impression that you are the same or better than that person, it's going to be very frustrating and very demotivating. On the other hand, if you know that you are earning a bit more than some of your colleagues that maybe you consider better than you, you're going to get lazy. You're going to think, I got it all. I can't push more. So I would really not recommend people to investigate what others earn, because that can be very frustrating, and that frustration is gonna disable you during your negotiation. So I would always encourage people to negotiate against themselves. So what you need to do is make sure you're in the right vehicle, and that you are moving towards your goal faster. So don't compare yourself to the others. Compare yourself to yourself last year. There has been some studies that have been made that show that overall men tend to overestimate themselves. So it's a generality. Don't take it personally, but overall, men tend to overestimate themselves and women tend to underestimate themselves. So again, if you take two people in the same role at the same company, and one of them every year is going to get into that room to negotiate his salary, and is going to have a perception of his value that is higher than what it really is, right? So the two of them are here. One is going to perceive himself here, and the other one is going to perceive herself there. So they are not going to ask for the same thing. And again, after 1 year, it's not going to make such a difference. But if you look at people who are in their career for like 20, 25 years, the difference can be very significant. So, it's not only about men and women. I think it's anyone who tends to underestimate himself will end up most likely with less than someone who, is self-aware, or even someone that tends to overestimate himself.